Deo, Deo.
Baby's got a burger and a chicken and that naked won't go down. Baby's got a burger and a chicken and that shit it won't go down. Corrosion to her thighs, erosion of her pride. Baby's got corrosion now, baby's got it.
Good morning, Vietnam. Corey digs the crocus. Who doesn't dig the crocus? The crocus is the focus. It ain't no jocus. Hocus pocus. Can't smoke us, but Kate says, damn, Bulla, getting old is a full-time job. Is it? Man, I wish you got paid for all those years of experience. Get paid to be an old person. I'd do that. I'll hike the pants up to here, up to the nips. You know, go around calling people Sonny. Keep some hard candy in my pocket. Although there's already hard candy in there. Ladies. Wink, 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 wink. All day sucker. Wait, what? Shot who? Wait, that ain't the show. Never mind. We're in the more serious stuff. Everybody's here. Kate's here and Ed's here. And we got Finger Man in the house. What's up, brother? Willie Bragg and Kim and Antoine Dixon. We know who you are, brother. Chuck on over there on Rumble saying, you Earth weirdos sure do like to drop bombs on everything. Yeah, we have a few songs about dropping bombs, baby. You know, there's the "You Drop the Bomb on Me," baby. I can't sing that too much because I don't want to get copyright hit, you know, because I'm that good. But then there's also "Bombs Over Baghdad," "Bombs Over Baghdad." That was back in the Gulf War days. I think that's a little hot. Let's put that back there. Yeah, it was in the Gulf War days back in around 91. This is Baghdad Bob, the propaganda guy over there. You know, everything's destroyed. He's like, no, everything's fine. Everything's fine. Baghdad Bob. Yeah, those were crazy days. Before social media, they were getting away with a lot of stuff left and right. Even though the Colin Powell at the UN with the yellow cake uranium in the bottle, yeah, people figured that was just some dumb shit. And a lot of dumb shit today too. We got a lot of propaganda stuff to show you in the propaganda watch. So, but let's get to it. We got a lot of news today. This was just breaking overnight. So this is from Al Mayadeen English. Ismail Haniyeh, that's how you say it. Ismail Haniyeh assassinated. And who is Ismail Haniyeh? So the Islamic Revolution Guard Corps in Iran and Hamas announced the martyrdom of Hamas political bureau chief Ismail Haniyeh in an airstrike on his residence in Tehran. And this was today, this morning, overnight. They're a few hours ahead of us here in the States, so it's, in the afternoon over there now. But the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps in Iran announced what we just said there. He was killed alongside one of his guards in Tehran, in Iran. Hamas confirmed the martyrdom of the leader, noting that the head of the political bureau was killed in a, quote, treacherous Zionist airstrike on his residence in Tehran. And of course, we'll talk about more of the Iranian attacks yesterday. Israeli attacks yesterday coming up. So another Hamas leader taken out. Hello. You can do that. There we go. And of course, Iran's supreme leader vows harsh punishment for Israel after the Haniyeh killing. They said avenging his assassination is Tehran's duty as Iran announces 3 days of mourning. So they'll do the 3 days of mourning, and then all hell breaks loose, apparently. Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, has promised harsh punishment for Israel in retaliation for the killing of Hamas's political leader, Haniyeh, in Tehran. The criminal and terrorist Zionist regime murdered our dear guest in our house and made us bereaved. Khamenei said in a statement on Wednesday, adding that it also prepared the ground for a harsh punishment itself. Israel really poking a lot of bears here. They really can't afford a war with Hezbollah, and they damn sure can't afford a war with Iran. They said, we consider it our duty to avenge his blood in this bitter, difficult incident which happened in the territory of the Islamic Republic. Iran has announced 3 days of public mourning across the country for Haniyeh. Funeral ceremony will be held on Thursday, after which his body will be transferred to Doha, Qatar, Hamas said in a statement on its Telegram channel. He'll be buried in the Qatari capital on Friday, the group announced. Which leads us into this right here. What happened yesterday, too, what we were also talking about. Is from Dave DeCamp, hardest working man in independent media, although there's a lot of hard-working men and women in independent media. It seems like his name comes up a lot. And he also does his own video podcast on YouTube. So check out Dave DeCamp there and antiwar.com. Usually puts out about 30 minutes. He does like a couple, 3 of his stories talking about him. You can always use more news, especially news outlets, in this day and age of serious propaganda. So Israel bombs Beirut, claims it targeted a senior Hezbollah commander. So an Israeli airstrike targeted the southern suburbs of the Lebanese capital of Beirut yesterday, a step that could escalate the Israel-Hezbollah conflict into a full-blown war. And as we're seeing here with at least 3 of you think we're heading for an all-out. They're heading for an all-out war. You might as well say we, because we're going to be funding Israel's bombs. Israel said that it targeted a senior Hezbollah commander, Fouad Shakur. A Lebanese government official told CNN that Shakur survived the strike. And our buddy Fiorella Isabel, she was watching this story as well, and she confirmed that he was still alive, while Israel is claiming he was killed. And I was seeing a lot of pro-Israel accounts yesterday saying, oh yeah, he's dead, he's dead, he's dead. They were just parroting each other, just like they always do. Lebanon's health ministry is reporting that 3 civilians, including 2 children, were killed in the attack, and 74 others, maybe more, have been wounded. So this was as of 9:16 last night, our time here in America, Eastern. The Israeli military claims Shakur was responsible for the rocket that killed 12 Druze children in the Israeli-occupied Golan Heights on Saturday. Hezbollah denied responsibility for the killing of the children and has said they were hit by an Israeli air defense rocket. We were talking about that the other day. They had video from March of shooting rockets off in that same area, and they're all going because the Iron Dome is trash. After the strike, the U.S. expressed strong support for Israel against Hezbollah. Shocking, I know. Our commitment to Israel's security is ironclad and unwavering against all Iran-backed threats, including Lebanese Hezbollah, said National Security Council spokeswoman Adrienne Watson. According to Al Jazeera, Hezbollah has warned that if Israel launched a strike deep into Lebanese territory, it would mean all rules of war are off. Last time Israel bombed Beirut was on January 2nd, when the Israeli military launched a drone strike that targeted a senior Hamas official. Yeah, so Israel, and somebody mentioned this yesterday online. I can't remember who said it, but it's kind of a good point. It seems like these strikes are coming right after Bibi leaves the United States, getting, the blessing, your excellency, the kissing of the ring, and all that. And then once he's gone out of the United States, that's when they're feeling emboldened. But, Israel really needs to kind of double check to make sure who's really supporting who. Like, on the surface, of course, the United States is supporting Israel, providing it with its yearly genocide budget and weapons and all that stuff. But apparently Hezbollah got a heads up from the U.S. before these attacks occurred. So I think this is from Middle East Eye on the Webbers there. U.S. warns Hezbollah about big strikes in East and South, but no wider offensive. So back-channel promises could explain why U.S. officials had publicly shrugged off concerns about a war breaking out between Israel and Hezbollah. Right? And that looks like some sort of, I don't know what that is. That's weird. I guess that's on top of the mountain or something. I don't know. That's wild. This is from Sean Matthews over there at Middle East Eye. The Biden administration has informed Hezbollah through Lebanese mediators that Israel plans to conduct big strikes in the east and south of Lebanon in retaliation for an attack in the Israeli-occupied Golan Heights, but will stop well short of a major offensive. A senior Arab official briefed on the matter told Middle East Eye that the warnings have been delivered to avert a full-fledged war with Lebanon, potentially so Hezbollah could move senior commanders out of the area. Interesting. Late on Tuesday, a large explosion ripped through a suburb south of Beirut. That's what we were talking about, considered a stronghold of Hezbollah. The Israeli military said the strike on Daiyah, I probably butchered the shit out of that name, targeted a senior Hezbollah commander. That's who we were talking about, who said that they thought they had killed him, but he'd actually survived. Those back-channel promises could explain why U.S. officials have publicly shrugged off concerns about a war breaking out between the Iran-backed group and Israel, calling them exaggerated. So, John Kirby, human potato head, based on the conversations that we've been having, we don't believe that this needs to result in an escalation of a broader war. There's no reason for that outcome to occur, White House spokesman John Kirby told reporters on Monday. Yeah, so I think if you want to read the tea leaves there, that's basically Kirby saying, yeah, we'll give you weapons to, destroy Gaza, but you want an all-out war. Because remember, they were running out of stuff to give to Ukraine in their proxy war over there. So, more Israeli fuckery. So this is from the Libertarian Institute. Our buddy Kyle Enzalone. Israeli strikes on crucial Yemeni port causes 20 million in damage. It was just pop yesterday for Israel. An Israeli airstrike on a fuel depot at the Yemen port of Hodeidah has resulted in tens of millions of dollars in damages to the important facility. Hodeidah is a crucial point for entry for food and other goods reaching the Yemeni people. Port official Nasser al-Nusari estimated the damage at $20 million. He told AFP there was damage to the dock, 2 cranes were destroyed, a small vessel was burnt, and a number of buildings were scorched. Nusari said the total would be higher once the oil ministry announced the damage to the oil infrastructure that was targeted by Israel. Back on the 21st, Israel targeted the port of Hodeidah with airstrikes. Houthi leader Abdul Malik al-Houthi said the strikes were aimed at the Yemeni economy. Hodeidah is the main port for many goods the people who live in Houthi-controlled Yemen rely upon, which is most of the population. 6 people died in the bombing. So, trying to take out Yemen. But you have to remember, though, that the Houthis, these are the same guys with the drones, like the small drones who are going over these Israeli sensitive areas and taking photos of them and mocking them about it, which is kind of funny. But that's a strong group over there. Those Houthis are not going to quit. They are in it for their brothers and sisters in Gaza. So good for them. Keep it up. Hard-right Israeli MP stormed the controversial detention camp. This is the whole rape story that they were talking about yesterday. Protesters incensed by arrest of 9 Israeli soldiers over alleged abuse of Palestinians held at Detain. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. Like I said, we'll have this up later in its full form. So, hard-right Israeli MPs, hard-right Israeli MPs, yeah, you have your screens. This is radio. Yeah, pretend it's radio for a minute. We can't do anything about the internet, sorry. So hard-right Israeli MP stormed a detention center on Tuesday in protest at the arrest of 9 soldiers over the alleged abuse of a Palestinian inmate. The MPs from Benjamin Netanyahu's ruling coalition broke through the gate at Detain facility in the Negev Desert alongside dozens of activists. The detention site run by the IDF has been at the center of controversy in recent months after reports of severe physical abuse of Palestinian prisoners since October 7th. Minister of Heritage Amiha Ben Eliyahu from the Jewish Power Party and Zvu Sukkot from the Religious Zionist Party took part in the crowd's forced entry into the base. The people of Israel live. So yeah, and here are these assholes. Hello. This is them yesterday. Basically trying to break out rapists. This is them breaking out rapists. This is a base that it's also a detention center. Several reports of physical abuse of Palestinian prisoners there. Horrible things too, involving like anal rape with like broom handles and just disgusting. And these guys are trying to break them out. These are like hard right creatures. So yeah, you didn't think Israel was bad enough. It's like, no, we want to keep our rapists free so they can keep doing things to other people. But you know, of course, the State Department here in the United States, being the cucks that they are, won't call it a war crime. Shocking, I know, right? So again, Dave DeCamp from antiwar.com says State Department won't call Israeli rape of Palestinian prisoners a war crime. And State Department spokesman Vedant Patel was asked if rape was a war crime. He said, "I am not a legal expert." The State Department yesterday refused to label Israeli soldiers raping Palestinian prisoners as war crime. Said Arikat, a reporter from Al-Quds, asked State Department spokesman Vedant Patel about the Israeli soldiers who were detained for raping a Palestinian prisoner at the notorious Detain detention facility. The Palestinian was transferred to a hospital with damage to his rectum that was so severe he could not walk. Yeah, Rick, you got nice seats waiting for him down there. Of course. The condition of the prisoner confirms some of the worst allegations about conditions at the prison. Both Israeli whistleblowers and former Palestinian prisoners have detailed torture and widespread abuse carried out by Israeli soldiers at the facility. Apparently rape and killing and torture and all of this thing, it happens regularly in Israeli detention camps. Does that constitute a war crime to you? Arikat asked Patel. And Patel replied in the bureaucratic way that they know how. So the reports of abuse are deeply concerning, and we have been clear and consistent with Israel and the IDF that they need to treat all detainees humanely and with dignity in accordance with humanitarian law. He added that the U.S. was going to let due process play out in the case against the Israeli soldiers. Another case of, the police policing themselves. They do that here in America. Like, oh yeah, we're gonna totally look into that, and the guilty parties will be punished. Wink, 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 wink. And as if they don't have enough to worry about getting raped in prison over there. An old favorite has come back into the mix. That's right, folks. You thought it was gone, but it's back. This is from Al Jazeera. Polio epidemic declared in Gaza in latest sign of worsening health crisis. Polio. That was the thing that killed Franklin Roosevelt. Almost 80 years ago. Gaza's health ministry calls for immediate intervention to end the aggression and find radical solutions to the health emergency. Right? I mean, they keep bombing hospitals and stuff like that over there. Of course, there's going to be a health crisis. Gaza's health ministry has declared a polio epidemic across the Palestinian enclave, blaming Israel's devastating military offensive for the spread of the deadly virus. In a statement on Telegram, the ministry on Monday said the situation, quote, poses a health threat to the residents of Gaza and neighboring countries, the latest sign of a worsening public health emergency caused by Israel's genocidal war since October. Calling the epidemic a setback to the global polio eradication program, the ministry called for a, quote, immediate intervention to end the Israeli aggression and find radical solutions to lack of potable water and personal hygiene, damaged sewer networks, and removal of tons of rubbish and solid waste. Poliomyelitis, which is spread mainly through the fecal-oral route, is a highly infectious virus that can invade the nervous system and cause paralysis. Cases of polio have declined by 99% worldwide since 1988, thanks to mass vaccination campaigns and efforts continue to eradicate it everywhere. Yes. So, Gaza, dealing with probably some of the most, some of the most heinous things a human being could ever go through. And attacks against these people and other Muslims is on the rise ever since this whole thing started back in October of last year. So, this is from Press TV. Attacks against Muslims, Palestinians in U.S., this is here in the United States, increased about 70% in 2024, according to the Council on American Islamic Relations. An advocacy group says discrimination and attacks against Muslims and Palestinians in the U.S. increased about 70% in the first half of 2024, amid Washington's unwavering support for Israel's genocidal war on the Gaza Strip. Yesterday, CARE, that's the group, said it received almost 5,000 complaints of anti-Muslim and anti-Palestinian incidents in the first 6 months of 2024, a rise of around 70% compared with the same period last year. The report noted that most of the complaints were in the categories of immigration and asylum, employment discrimination, education discrimination, and hate crimes. Hey, Laura. Good to see you. Good morning. Stalin got messed up from polio too? Yeah, polio was bad news back then. Last year, CARE registered over 8,000 such complaints, about 3,600 of them in the last 3 months of the year alone after the war erupted. Yeah, so, and this happened also after 9/11 too. You saw an uptick of Muslim hate because they kept saying it was Muslims, it was Muslims, it was Muslims, and well, we We know better than that. They also included the stabbing of a Palestinian-American man in Texas in February, the November shooting of 3 students of Palestinian descent in Vermont, and the attempted drowning of a 3-year-old Palestinian-American girl in May. Yeah. These come as human rights advocates have reported a global rise in Islamophobia and anti-Palestinian bias since the eruption of Israel's war on Gaza. This is terrible. A 71-year-old white man in the U.S. state of Illinois, right here, motivated by anti-Palestinian rhetoric, stabbed a 6-year-old Muslim boy 26 times and seriously injured his mother. These are the people we're dealing with. And when you talk about misinformation and poisoning people's minds, that's also what we're talking about too. The mainstream media is just a toilet. There is no information that's helpful to any of you or me. So that's why we got to rely on more independent news sources. People are willing to stick their necks out to tell the truth, because truth is very much a premium these days. But a little bit of good news if you've been boycotting Israel at various places. Mickey D's took a hit. McDonald's hit by first sales drop since 2020 amid boycott campaign over Gaza. Again, from Press TV. The McDonald's fast food chain has experienced its first decline in global sales in almost 4 years, significantly affected by a boycott campaign initiated by Palestinian supporters around the globe amid the ongoing Israel's war on Gaza. McDonald's worldwide sales dropped by 1%. I know it doesn't sound like much, but in the April-June period, marking the first decline since the fourth quarter of 2020 due to the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic and government-imposed restrictions, the company reported on Monday. The ongoing anti-Israel boycott was not addressed in the report explicitly, which instead attributed the decline to customers being, quote, more discriminating with their spend. Basically saying, I'm not going to spend my money on genocide enablers. McDonald's blamed the decline in sales to a decrease in U.S. customer traffic, particularly mitigated by price increases. Yeah, that helps too. Hey, we're going to have shit food, but guess what? We're jacking up the prices. Well, you're not going to buy from us? Why? I don't understand. As well as the continued impact of the war in West Asia and reduced demand in China. The report showed that the net income of McDonald's decreased 12% to a little over $2 billion in the second quarter of the year. The global decline in comparable sales, which covers company-owned and franchise-owned stores open for at least 13 months, marks the first fall since the last quarter of 2020. So if you don't think these boycotts are working, they're working. My buddy Ricky Rant, still in New York, was telling me that the Starbucks at Astor Place, it's right there near the East Village. Out. No mas. No more. Closed down. Too high of prices. Even if when Starbucks can't afford the leases, and nobody's coming there to drink your shitty coffee, you know what's up. And speaking of shenanigans, or maybe we weren't, but we are now. We're talking about shenanigans. As you may know, Nicolas Maduro won the presidential election in Venezuela. And of course, there's the U.S. doesn't like that because Maduro does not play ball with the United States. At least he doesn't play ball the way they want him to. He basically kicks them in the balls, and they don't like it when he does that. So they've been trying to get rid of him for a while, and now the U.S. accuses Venezuela of election manipulation after Maduro victory threatened sanctions, too. So Senator Rick Scott, the human lizard out of Florida is calling on Biden to recognize the opposition candidate as the president-elect. U.S. officials on Monday accused Venezuela of election manipulation and suggested more sanctions could be imposed on the country after President Nicolas Maduro secured a third 6-year presidential term. Venezuela's election authorities said Maduro won 51% of the vote, while the leading opposition candidate Edmundo Gonzalez received 44%. The opposition is disputing the results, claiming that Gonzalez really won by a wide margin. Of course they did. Two U.S. officials speaking to reporters called on the election authority to release a detailed breakdown of the vote. I think what we would like to see happen next is have the National Electoral Council publish the detailed precinct-level results to see if they do, in fact, have the receipts that can both verify and justify the electoral results that they announced the other night, one of the officials said. But this is all well and good, but they had 800 election observers there. 800. As they're calling fraud, some of these observers are endorsing the results. So this is from Consortium News, and Alan McLeod, we're going to be hearing a lot from him a little bit later. So, as U.S. leaders call fraud, U.S. observers endorse results. Western media appeared as eager as the U.S. government to undermine the elections in Venezuela and agitate for political strife. Much to the chagrin of the U.S. government, socialist candidate Nicolas Maduro won a third successive term in office on Sunday, convincingly beating his U.S.-backed opponents, Gonzalez and Maria Corina Machado, by 7 points. Almost immediately after the results were announced, American officials began decrying the elections as a farce. And this fucking lizard guy, Antony Blinken, we commend the Venezuelan people's courage and commitment to democracy in the face of repression. He said, we have serious concerns that the result announced does not affect the will or the votes of the Venezuelan people. The will or the votes of the Venezuelan people is actually code for the 3-letter agencies in the United States and their handlers. It is critical that every vote be counted fairly and transparently, blah, 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 blah. Thirsty Marco Rubio, Aquaman, as he's known in some parts, a longtime Venezuela hawk, went further, stating, everybody knows massive voter turnout like the one today in Venezuela would result in a massive loss by Maduro. The only way he wins is with massive fraud. He went on to say that Maduro should have lost by 40 points and would immediately institute a communications blackout across the country in an effort to cement his rule. So statements like these completely contrast the accounts and testimony of dozens of American electoral observers in Venezuela, many of whom had spoke with Alan at Mint Press News. I don't agree with Marco Rubio, says Wyatt Sowers, a representative of the International People's Assembly, explaining that the U.S. has tried to destabilize and undermine the legitimacy of basically every Venezuelan election in recent memory, at least in the last 25 years, when they instituted, what is it, the Bolivarian Constitution. Ahead of the election, they always put out statements and media pieces declaring the election a fraud before it even happens. But what we have witnessed this week is tons of support for the Maduro government amongst the people here. He visited several polling stations in the Caracas area and noted that the turnout was massive, with hundreds of people inside the voting stations at any given time. And the other day, we showed you what the Combo Couch had, the step-by-step breakdown of what the voting process there was like. Roger Harris, an observer from Task Force on the Americas, spent the day observing electoral centers in Miranda State. He and others told Mint Press that opposition supporters were perfectly happy to publicly announce their allegations and express their grievances with the government. Despite their opposition to socialism, most retained confidence in the electoral system. And of course, no comparison with the U.S. That's why I say the unironic. The Democratic Party just basically chose their candidate. No election. They just said, you know, this is who we're running. Live with it. And 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 then they're trying to tell other people how to run their fucking elections. Balls on that one. Wow. So, yeah, and as I told you, we're going to show you more of what Alan McLeod from Mint Press News. So, let me get this ready here. So this is a thread from him yesterday, I believe, or maybe the day before. Okay. Is this working? Okay. After a night of violence here in Caracas, pro-government demonstrators are gathered to march on the presidential palace and defend their revolution from an attempt at a coup d'etat. So, let's see what he had to say about that.
It's July 30 here in Venezuela, and Mint Press News is here in Plaza Sucre in the Catia neighborhood of Caracas. Thousands of pro-government supporters, Chavistas, are here to defend the revolution and defend the results of the elections that were called on July 28th. Those elections saw Nicolas Maduro win with 51% of the votes to his nearest challenger, Edmundo Gonzalez, who gained 44%. However, the opposition, citing an American polling firm, said that they actually won the results with 73% of the votes going to them. That election organization, however, has many links to the CIA, so we have to take that with a bit of a grain of salt. Now, on July 29th, we saw a lot of violence all over Venezuela, especially in Caracas, where opposition supporters set up guarimbas, big barricades all over the place. There were attacks on government buildings and attacks on hospitals and clinics as well. We don't know the official death toll yet, but suddenly at least one police officer was killed and at least 40 more were injured. There are many alternative media here, but there are zero corporate media here covering this big demonstration. In a little while, we're going to march towards the Miraflores presidential palace, where they're going to surround the building and try and defend it from any attacks coming from the opposition. Stay tuned to Mint Press and we'll bring you updates as soon as they happen.
Yeah, so I've been following that one, and he goes on here. So the opposition supporters vented their anger all over Venezuela, blocking roads, destroying government buildings, hospitals, and pharmacies. And if you want to check out the thread, that's Alan McLeod's thread here on the tweeters. Supporters of the Bolivarian Revolution are gathering across working-class neighborhoods to march on the presidential palace, putting their bodies on the line to make sure the opposition doesn't storm the palace and overthrow the government. This isn't Venezuela's first rodeo, right? They're used to interference and bullshit happening. So now there are people like, oh, no, we're ready for it. A mass of motorizados have arrived to support the revolutionaries. Yeah, you want to fuck with bikers. The counter-revolutionary opposition incited people to go onto the streets and commit violence, but now the people are here to defend their country. That's from Vijay Prashad. Braving utterly terrible weather conditions, thousands of government supporters marched towards the presidential palace. And they were saying like all these people were destroying stuff, right? And there's Maduro. This is a crowd at Miraflores. And no violence, he says. Crowds packed into the city center. Everything's calm. And while American officials had called fraud, dozens of American election observers who were actually there have endorsed the results. And we told you about that just a second ago. So yeah, and we have to make sure that we call out this fuckery too. Right? So this is just a bit of karma. I thought maybe some of you have seen this, but just to set this up, this lady here in the video, she's a business owner, right? But she's against the government, right? She's against socialism, and just watch this. This is kind of interesting what happens. So she's with the counter protester. These are the counter protesters looting places. Not the people protecting Maduro. These are the people who wanted the opposition to win. And now this lady, that same lady, is going into her shop. Yeah, you get the drift. Anyway, I don't wish anybody to get their store looted or have their shit destroyed and stuff like that. But I also believe in karma, and that some fuckers, kind of deserve what they get. Yeah. So yeah, a lot of craziness going on down there. There was no, and I haven't done any lately, Laura. Late night shows probably bring it back soon. I'm still just getting used to this morning thing and doing that. So, and again, I apologize. I think maybe the internet's cleared up. I don't know. Like I said, if this is all crumbly and everything, I'm gonna upload a separate video without it on my end. It's nice and clear. So, my apologies. Yeah, that's right. That's what I said. The counter protesters, which she was joining, looted her store. So things are happening with the FBI probing into the attempted assassination of Orange Man Bad. Trump's going to be interviewed by the FBI probe into his assassination attempt. So the FBI agent says agency eager to get U.S. president's perspective on what he observed during the July 13th rally shooting. And there he is with that ridiculous bandage on his ear. I don't even think that's real. So Trump has agreed to be interviewed as part of the FBI investigation against the former United States in the assassination attempt against the former U.S. president. One official said, as questions continue to swirl around the campaign rally shooting. Kevin Rojek, the special agent in charge of the FBI's Pittsburgh field office, said on Monday that the agency wants to, quote, to get Trump's perspective on what he observed. The former president and Republican Party 2024 nominee has agreed to sit for a standard victims interview, which, quote, will be consistent with any victim interview we do. Trump, who has been highly critical of the FBI, was allegedly shot in the ear during a July 13th rally in Pennsylvania, spurring widespread condemnation and questions about what security measures were put in place before the event. I find this interesting. Witnesses say the alleged gunman, 20-year-old Thomas Matthew Crooks, had taken up a position on the rooftop with a direct line of sight of the rally stage. One rally attendee was killed and two were seriously injured. During Monday's briefing, FBI officials said they had yet to identify a motive for the shooting. Interesting. How funny that is. But they said Crooks had conducted online searches into prior mass shooting events, improvised explosive devices, and the attempted assassination of the Slovakian prime minister in May. So last week, FBI Director Christopher Wray said during a congressional hearing that the agency will leave no stone unturned as it looks into what happened. So no motive. Very hanky way the kid got up there without anybody, saying anything about it. That story is just, it's going to be another Kennedy, JFK thing. The people are just going to speculate and speculate. We'll tell you in 60 or 70 years when we release the records. Isn't that how they do it? Back here back in the ranch here, more money a-flowing, but not to you and me. Dave DeCamp, once again, U.S. announces $1.7 billion weapons package for Ukraine. This was Friday. He was providing Ukraine with new weapons package worth $1.7 billion which includes munitions for air defense systems, ammunition for HIMARS, rocket systems, artillery shells, and other types of equipment. The package includes $1.5 billion that's being provided through the Ukraine Security Assistance, USA, initiative. They had to put initiative at the end because they can't have USA. That'd be too on the nose. The USAI allows the U.S. to purchase weapons for Ukraine, which means it could take months or years before the equipment is delivered. The other $200 million uses the Presidential Drawdown Authority, which allows President Biden to ship weapons to Ukraine directly from Pentagon stockpiles. And this was on top of the other $2 billion that they found in an accounting error the other day. But the U.S. is not done spending money. They also announced $500 million in new military aid for the Philippines amid China tensions. So yesterday, Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin and Secretary of State Antony Blinken announced $500 million in new military aid for the Philippines while they were while the two of them were in Manila. Their visit comes amid soaring tensions with China and in the region. According to a joint statement released by Austin, Blinken, and their Philippine counterparts, the $500 million is coming from the 2024 Indo-Pacific Security Supplemental Appropriations Act, Jesus Christ, which was tucked into the $95 billion foreign military aid bill President Biden signed into law in April. Blinken said the military aid will help modernize the Filipino armed forces and Coast Guard. The aid is being provided in the form of military financing, a State Department program that gives foreign governments money to buy U.S. weapons. Yes. So money, 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 but none for any of us. Meanwhile, in Russia, though, Russia is basically telling people you're going to find out. This is from Insider Paper. Russia begins third stage of nuclear weapons drill, according to the army. Russia today announced it had launched the third stage of drills on the use of tactical nuclear weapons, which included forces involved in the conflict in Ukraine. The Defense Ministry said the exercises were taking place in the central and southern military districts, which include several North Caucasus republics and annexed Crimea, as well as 4 regions of southern and eastern Ukraine that Russia claims to have annexed despite not fully controlling. The southern military district includes the Russian city of Rostov-on-Don, which is home to Moscow's headquarters for the military operation in Ukraine. The third stage of non-strategic nuclear forces exercises have begun, said the Russian defense minister in a statement. This stage of drills involves training on the Iskander-M missile systems and various aircraft. The defense ministry said the military personnel taking part will train on receiving special ammunition and on equipping missile systems and aircraft. Yeah, so it is really turning into a nut house over there. As, we're just throwing money everywhere. And it's just being destroyed, basically, in war. It's destroying people that have no business fighting each other, and probably wouldn't be if it wasn't for the United States and their total fuckfest of a way of foreign policy. So that's the news roundup for today. But we got plenty of propaganda to show you and educate you on. And this first one is going to be awful. I'm just going to tell you that right now.
Sharing of biased and
False news has become all too common on social media.
More alarming, some media outlets publish things they are true without checking facts first.
Unfortunately, some members use their platforms to push their own personal bias and agenda to control exactly what people think. And this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
All right, you may have seen this. White women for Kamala. The Zoom call stresses the importance of using their white girl privilege to get and garner support for Kamala Harris in the 2024 election. May God have mercy on our souls. I'm kind of hoping this doesn't work, to be honest with you.
Ariel Fodor, affectionately known as Mrs. Frazzle to her combined audience of over 1.5 million followers, is here to help gentle parent us through this election.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. I am so honored to speak today. I am like shaking to just be among such incredible company. We are here because, as if you were here earlier, you've heard BIPOC women have tapped us in as white women to step up, listen, and get involved this election season. This is a really important time, and we all need to use our voices and influence for the greater good, no matter who you are. You are all influencers in some way. So tonight, I'm going to share some do's and don'ts for getting involved in politics online and navigating the toxicity that comes with it. And spoiler alert, as much as the toxicity can come from the outside, it can come from us too. So first, don't isolate yourself. We can do our best work when we're in community together like we are tonight, because the toxic feels smaller when we support each other. But don't make it about yourself. As white women, we need to use our privilege to make positive changes. If you find yourself talking over or speaking for BIPOC individuals, or God forbid, correcting them, just take a beat. And instead, we can put our listening ears on. So do learn from and amplify the voices of those who have been historically marginalized, and use the privilege you have in order to push for systemic change. As white people, we have a lot to learn and unlearn. So do check your blind spots. You are responsible for your algorithm, believe it or not.
Ariel.
I'm sorry. Sorry I made you watch that. You're isolating yourself, Kate. Just, I wanted to. Yeah, there you go. Trying to get the white women on board, like, hey, you know. They had one of these Zoom calls, they said, it was like, they had like the same guest in twice, but it was like 3 or 4 different spots. It was like, it was almost like that game Concentration where you have all the cards down and then you flip the card up and then you put it back down, then you flip another card up to try and match, and then you, yeah. You know that old children's tale from the sea. This is from Gen X Girl, on the tweeters. This is some fun stuff here. So, U.S.-led election interference. Venezuela's opposition claims it won the election based on exit polling. Yes, from that shady-ass American polling firm. That is trash. Yeah, that's some dangerous shit. All this shit. That's why we gotta show people these fucking propaganda, and hopefully they can see it and like understand it and recognize it more. So repeating that claim was lawmakers Elon Musk, Javier Milei, and pro-Israel accounts and news. Of course, pro-Israel always got to be the fuckers. They can't just be satisfied with being fuckers on Gaza. They have to be fuckers on everything else. There's one problem. The polling firm is CIA linked. Edison Research. Oh, really? This is from geopoliticaleconomy.com. U.S. government-linked firm is source of exit poll claiming Venezuelan opposition won election. Venezuela's opposition and U.S. media outlets claim that there was fraud in the election based on an exit poll done by U.S. government-linked firm Edison Research, which works with CIA-linked U.S. state propaganda organizations, I would assume, and was active in Ukraine, Georgia, and Iraq. The U.S. firm's website notes that Farbman manages Edison's international research with a specialization in the Middle East and Africa for clients including BBC, The Voice of America, the Middle East Broadcasting Networks, and Radio Free Europe / Radio Liberty. Yes. No, you're gonna be that way. Okay. Our buddy Fiorella showing us some more bullshit from Vicegrad 24. Yeah. Aggregating, curating news, politics, and current affairs. Right. So, we'll read this first and we'll get Fee's response to it. Venezuelan army captains Javier and Juan Carlos Nieto Quintero send a message to all soldiers. It's time to make the right decision at a historical moment. It's evident we have a new president-elect. Time for the army to intervene. Right? So, a little problem with that. So, she says, false, less reliable than the National Enquirer. The defense minister and the entire military back Maduro, which they do. These two down here, Lenny and Squiggy, are inactive. Juan Carlos Nieto Quintero was imprisoned for years of rebellion and released in 2019. Both he and Javier are in exile, not in Venezuela. Yeah, and even the readers said they're not active military. Sorry. So, and I said probably shot this in the same studio and green screen Zelensky uses. So, yeah, gotta save money, man. This propaganda ain't cheap. What else we got here? All right, and finally, so this is a big thread from, like we said, we're going to have a lot of Alan McLeod today. So this was all the fuckery that was going on in this coup attempt. What's up, Steve? Good to see you. She doesn't lie all the time, all right? She was right on this, so. There's a coup d'etat attempt underway in Venezuela, fueled by tons of fake news. So in this thread, he's going to debunk some of the egregious and viral fake stories. Add your own if in the replies. So one of the things, one of them was this video of people stealing. This says breaking art. This is I meme, therefore I am. This is a big time trash account. Armed communist Maduro gangs are violently storming polling stations in Punta Cardon, Falcon State, Venezuela. They aim to steal the ballot boxes. Well, it turns out the video is showing the theft of air conditioning units, not ballot boxes. The actual ballot boxes are made of cardboard. This is what they look like. This is what they look like. Doesn't look like an air conditioner. There's another one here. This video claiming to show huge clashes between protesters and police today is going viral. But as Luis de Jesus and others have noted, this video is 7 years old. This image, which many claim to be official election results, has been seen by tens of millions of people. It claims that the vote count is 109%. But actually, all that happened is that the three minor opposition candidates pictured got 4.6% of the vote together, not each. So they're saying these people got like 13 something percent, and added to this makes it 50. And it's like, no. That's not what happened. These are not the official results. The official results add up to 100%. This is a simple data entry error from someone making an infographic for the TV. Dishonest actors are promoting this to spread the idea that the official election results are fraudulent. All right. People are claiming this image is from the National Electoral Council, and the charts on the screen show a Gonzalez victory. But this isn't from the CNE at all. Rather, it is from Mercal Aragua, a totally different organization with no access to voting information. The opposition is also blatantly using a bot network to boost their narrative on social media. So all these bots. Bots. It's, look at them. They're all saying the exact same thing. Bots. And of course, end wokeness, the libs of TikTok of shittiness, saying that Venezuela was shutting polling stations, when in fact, he says he knows for a fact it was fake news because he was right there in this crowd, as this video was taken, it was in fact the opposition that tried to shut down this Caracas polling station. A group of over 100 right-wing demonstrators crowded around the entrance to stop people from entering. So, well, yeah. So it's it's a lot of deflection. If you look at it like that, like a lot of these are just deflections, then you're like, oh, well, that makes sense. They're totally deflecting. Elon Musk himself retweets a video purporting to show protesters tearing down a statue of President Hugo Chavez yesterday. But this video is from 2017. What? That's funny. Elon Musk owns Twitter, and he got community noted. That's funny. This one I know some of you have seen, and this is just straight out of like B movie. We'll play it. We'll play the whole thing in a second. Well, let me go ahead and play it. So this is do this. Wait, let me read this first quick. So members of the US-backed opposition simulate a death, videotape it for social media, and blame the government. Minutes later, he appears completely normal on the passenger seat of a motorcycle after the recording finishes. So here's this guy, right? Oh, look at him, the horror. What happened? Dios mío, all that blood. Why? Why, God? Why? Why did this have to happen? And then, boom, boom, boom. Boom. Well, that's not cool. Oh no, my mouse died. One hell of a day, folks. One hell of a day. All right, so you don't have to see that again. Yeah, today, the tech day, not good. Pardon all that bullshit. I think that's it. Is that it? Yeah, that's it. Look, man, we're talking, if you're going to talk about somebody, that's fine. I don't care, but at least stick to the topic. All right. So if you want to talk shit about somebody, that's fine. But, you know, in the context of the story that she was reporting, it was true. So other than that, maybe just leave that out of this. All right. Whatever your opinions are. All right. Well, this was enough of a shit show today, but what won't be a shit show is later today. Our buddy Willie Bragg, claims that he's going to be, having a show this evening, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Yeah, she does. So just chill the fuck out. All right. If we were talking about China or Russia or something like that, yeah, express your opinion, but don't be a shit about it while we're talking about this stuff. We're trying to get this information out. And the last thing we need is just like some other stuff that has nothing to do with it involved in the thing. So, we try to keep things clear, to the point, straight. If you got a problem with the sources, that's fine. You got a problem with the source of the information, or you think it might be different or something, feel free to educate me. I'm always willing to learn. But meanwhile, we use the sources that we have. Otherwise, we could just do CBS, NBC, we just give you all the propaganda you want. I mean, the choice is yours, but, some of these folks, you're going to have to say, hey, look, all right, they're good on this. Let's, and just stay focused. All right. Okay. And of course, around the world with Dee and friends tonight. Well, maybe don't expand. Okay. Maybe just kind of keep that to yourself. When it's maybe when the conversation's relevant, if we're doing a story on China or Russia and she's involved, maybe you could do that. All right. But in the meantime, just chill the fuck out. D tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern. Like we said, Willie Bragg, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, both on YouTube. So enjoy those. And I'm going to take a look at this video. If this is really horrible, I'm going to try and fix it and just upload the one I recorded, and hopefully that one's good. We'll see. And of course, the internet's fine at the end of the show. Perfect. Other than that, I think that's it. No guest on Friday, just a regular ass show. More news, more crazy shit going on around the world. So, thanks everybody for showing up and on Rockfin and Rumble and YouTube. Appreciate all of you. Have a wonderful day. Stay frosty. Don't join any cults. And, use your critical thinking skills. Please. Somebody needs to.
This is City Alpha 5! Woo! Damn good song, wasn't it, dog? You like that song? All right.